we've become best friends, and we've also established dominance. Like
It's
we
true.
know,
That's important.
we know the hierarchy now.
There's a pecking order now.
Let's be best friends.
Hello, I'm Cole Sauer, and welcome to Let's Be Best Friends, a podcast where I talk to people that I barely know and try and convince them to be my new best friends, because in times like these, who needs enemies? My guest today is a woman of many hats and talents, and the forerunner of many LGBTQ plus comedy shows in the Toronto comedy scene. Ladies and gentlemen, Alice Rose.
Hey, Cole, what's up? You ready to be best fucking friends?
I'm
Let's do this.
so excited to be best friends.
All right. Can we swear on this podcast? Because I
100%.
just did.
Yeah.
And I get really competitive with Mario Kart.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah, we love
all
cussing.
right.
We love cussing.
All right. This is good. When
I started the podcast, I told my mom about it, and I was like, I promise this time I'm gonna cuss less. I promise. I haven't held up to it.
And okay, yeah.
But damn, I try.
Well, if we're not in this to discourage our moms from following us on social media, what are we doing this
That's
for?
true. If there's one thing about
Honestly.
being an entertainer, it's that you're here to disappoint your mom.
Yes. 100%.
So,
All right.
Alice, we've met a few times. You know, the comedy scene,
Yeah.
everyone intermingles, but I feel like we haven't
Yeah.
had a lot of time to get to know each other, to truly become best friends. Every time we have a new guest on the show, we start with Larry King. Used to always say that there's 5 questions that you have to answer in every interview: who, what, where, when, and why.
Yes.
Being a terrible interviewer, like to get those out of the way immediately. So, if we can start on the easy one, who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. I'm Alice Rose. I'm a comedian living in Toronto. I grew up in Northern Ontario, but I've lived everywhere from East Africa to the Northwest Territories. I started comedy about 2.5 years ago. Caught the bug, moved to Toronto to pursue it. Now I'm the producer, the head producer, and the owner of Comic Sans Productions. So that's a production company that tries to mobilize and highlight queer, trans, and marginalized comedians. Black, Indigenous people of color, disabled comedians, and comedians from all backgrounds. We have a little talent agency. We have a production company with 10 shows under our belt. And I like to perform on stage once in a while as well. And that's about it for me.
So tell me about East Africa. I didn't know that. So when was that?
In university, I combined one of my co-op placements with a fellowship with an NGO.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Uganda and I worked in this NGO office as their in-house graphic designer.
Oh.
I got to work with really cool queer African advocacy groups,
Mm-hmm.
which was really important because this was 2014 when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they passed their Anti-Homosexuality Act into a law.
Mm-hmm.
I just basically published books and journals, helped design a new website for a project. And I drank a lot of Nile Special, which is like their beer there, and had a great time. I loved it. Think about it, and I miss it every day for sure.
So you say you've only done comedy for like 2.5 years, relatively short time. So
Yeah.
what got you there? Take me a little bit through that.
Oh my God. Okay. It's really closely linked with transitioning and coming out, actually, because I was a student in architecture school. I was struggling with school. I was struggling with my identity, different personal issues, and everything just sort of collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through a bit of a mental breakdown. I lived in the woods for like 4 months for a summer.
Damn.
I do everything like 110%.
This is like commitment is the name of the game.
Yes. It's a world of extremes for me. So living in the woods in a deep depression for a bit, and I like in a cottage, not like
just on the ground, just eating
homeless in Hyde Park. No. And I came out of this just with a strong understanding of myself as a trans woman, as a queer woman, and really with this empowerment of being able to accept who I was. And who I wasn't an architecture student or an architect. Who I wasn't the person I was portraying. Gave myself the leniency to like get a coffee shop job. And at that coffee shop, they started producing comedy shows. I started making friends with a bunch of comedians. Some of the first, Al Val, who I love, Tig Wright from Cambridge. Al was on the very first comedy show that I ever saw live.
Man, friend of the show, Al Val. I love that boy. I love that boy to death.
Yes. Michael Moses was there early on. Dave Getachew, Jason Allen. These people became like my little family. And they encouraged me to try stand-up. Then I got on to like local shows, and then I met the Toronto queer comics. I met Shanti Marostica really early on. I met Kyle Brownrigg, B. Bertrand, all of these people who like influenced me at that time. Then I came here and decided to try to take over the world. And,
that's a noble goal. From berries in High Park to taking over the world.
Yeah, exactly. From rags to riches.
Oh, what a great name! That's the title of your autobiography right there.
Yes.
From Cabin in the Woods to taking over the world.
Yeah, from dregs to riches, or from I don't know.
From drags to riches.
From drags to riches. Yeah. If
Damn.
only I were a drag queen before I came out.
Yeah. Drags to riches is so good. So where was it that? So you said you moved to Toronto to do comedy. So where did you get started?
In Kitchener, Waterloo.
There it is.
Yeah, KW. That's the scene. That's the home of my first show that I still run. So Comic Sans still not right now, obviously, because the world is on fire.
Good old Rona.
But we've been doing that show in Waterloo for 2 years. Last month was our 2-year anniversary. Now we're doing it in Hamilton, Toronto, hoping to start up in St. Catharines, and again, take over the world.
So
Let's go globally, yeah.
Is there a big scene in Kitchener, Waterloo, or was it like a very small scene that you kind of got started in and moved to the bigger scene?
Yeah, it's pretty small. So I was lucky to book like 3 shows a month.
Oh, wow.
And those shows being in Guelph and Hamilton and Brantford and all of those smaller cities. Like you had to travel a lot to really, really pursue comedy.
Yeah, you got to make time.
There was one open mic in the area, and then there was Blackball Comedy, which is an amazing show. And it's a weekly semi-pro show that runs in Kitchener. So it was a really, really small scene. It's growing now. We're doing great things. Ben McKay's doing great things. Jokes with James. Nathan Teixeira runs a couple shows, or used to. So it's like it's coming along, but it's still a really, really small scene.
It's like a growing scene.
Did
you have a car when you were making towns, or were you just public transit all the way?
No, I was public transit.
Holy
I was 3-hour go bus into Toronto, sleeping on friends' couches.
Oh my God.
Props to Ashley Cooper, her couch, for for helping me break out in Toronto. And when I moved to Toronto, Ashley Cooper and I lived together. I moved into her basement for about 6 months. So that was a little comedy house.
I was going to say, the stories of comedians, I think, are always the most interesting, because it's the same, like anyone in entertainment, it's always like that. It's like, I wanted to do this thing so bad that I spent like $12 every weekend to make nothing, and it took 6 hours there and back to get 5 minutes on a stage. Yeah.
And I was giving away shifts at the coffee shop. I was giving away shifts at whatever restaurant or serving gig you're doing. You know, it's it's a hustle. It's something. Once you get that bug, you just gotta fucking chase it.
Yeah,
you know?
That's it, right? It literally is a bug. It's like a disease. Like
it is.
An entertainer, you get sick, and you're just like, all right, like this is my life now.
You do. It's all natural cocaine. Like there's a reason so many comics are hooked on coke, because those highs and lows are exactly the same. It is, and once you get it, you're just shaking without it. Like you need it.
That makes sense because like obviously there's a lot of drugs in entertainment and there's a lot of coke in comedy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always said if I ever did coke, I'm pretty sure my heart would explode because I already run like pretty high as a person. Like I'm already up here. So if I do coke, I'm gonna go and ow, gone. I'm gonna
just explode.
Dust.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
When was it that that it became about? So would you say that production is more your focus now, or are you still kind of equal in both pots?
Equal in both pots.
Okay.
I think I'm a strong producer, and I enjoy producing, which is really unique for comics because most people, they're comics, they produce shows to get on shows, to get their name out there, to build exposure. But I really enjoy producing shows. I enjoy producing new formats and trying new mediums. You know, since starting as a producer, I've written spec scripts, I've written articles, I've written pilots, just to try to get things rolling and projects rolling. But it doesn't replace comedy and performing. So I still plan A is to be a successful comic and get the Netflix special and make $1 million.
Yeah.
Plan B is to produce shows and represent talented comics and get 10 people to Netflix fame so that they make $1 million. And then I take a 10% cut. I get my bag too. So that's sort of the direction. Comedy is something where you can't put your eggs in the same basket.
No. Yeah.
You have to diversify your income. You have to diversify your skill set. And I'm just trying to do that. But I'm equal parts, character and businesswoman for sure.
So when was it for you that it became I guess when did you catch the bug to the point where it was like, this is it now? Like the bus rides are worth it. When was it that you were like, I'm doing it?
I started 2.5 years ago. I did an open mic and I did a book show and I called it quits. I didn't have it. I hated it. It was anxiety inducing. Every time I went on stage, I had this hit of like dysphoria about my voice and I was so nervous, so anxious having people look at me. I didn't do another show for like another 3 months.
Yeah. Wow.
When did I really hit the bug? I think it was, I came to Toronto to do a QAPD show, like an open mic on a Monday. And then I got into Toronto earlier that day and I was invited to hop on a 24-hour marathon at the Rivoli.
Oh, okay.
And that was about 1.5 years. No, longer. About 2 years ago. Timelines are fuzzy. Anyways, so I came into town. I hopped on this show. Adam Gross introduced me, and I thought that was really cool because Cash Cab and all of those things. Then I spent the afternoon in Toronto, did the QAPD open mic, hopped on a go bus, and then halfway there, I was invited back to do Crazy Eights at SoCap.
Oh, yeah.
So I came back the next day and I had done like 3 shows in a little over 24 hours. And I was like, I'm starting to feel a groove. I'm starting to really get like where you can build up from one to the other. So then after that Crazy 8 show, I jumped into Groove Bar and did a set at the open mic there. And that's when I was hooked. I was like, I can hustle. I can really do this. Having those shows like in sequence, bang, 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 helped me to just get a comfort level. And by the end of that night, I was wasted. I was exhausted. I was so sweaty, but I felt like I fucked it up. I really killed it that night. And in hindsight, I didn't kill it. It was It was still super painful and cringeworthy, but I loved that high. I loved that vibe. And that's when I decided to move.
So would you say it was the consistency that really got like that you've kind of found a groove with it, and then you were like, okay, like now I'm starting to get it?
Yeah, absolutely. One show a month was a hobby. That was something I could sit and dread, and I could sit and overthink and become really nervous about. But just coming to Toronto and diving into it, I was like, okay, you gotta just go to the next show, do your thing again, do it just like you did, and then learn to tweak a couple things and get a better response. And that was my first feel for like the craft of it. And that's when it hit me. And I think like 2 months later, because that was late spring, early summer, I moved in August of that year to Toronto. So 2 years ago exactly.
Yeah. So it really bit you.
Yeah, it did.
So for why, because why can be a pretty nebulous question. So for why, I usually put, why do you do the thing that you do? So I guess to kind of boil it down, why do you think that you know, because you said you had a whole life before this, architecture student and all those kinds of things, and then you caught this bug. So what is it about that high that keeps you chasing? Because, you know, we've all had a bad show and we've all had those thoughts of like, you know, it's time to get a desk job, you know. Why do you keep going?
Yeah, there's a lot of whys. So the why for like starting stand-up was, and I was actually always really interested in stand-up. I loved watching Comedy Central shows when I was younger. I liked writing jokes. I just never really was good at it. And then coming out and having these experiences and talking to people about, you know, my experiences in transition, talking to friends and things like that, I finally felt like I had a story to tell.
Okay.
So that's, and, you know, having a theater background and everything, I love performing, whether it was theater or music. I was always trying something creative and performative. And stand-up struck me as a medium where I'm performing my own words. So I'm writing everything, and every word that comes out of my mouth is my perspectives, my thoughts, and my opinions. And I also found that stand-up had this great capacity for breaking down those boundaries, where if I were to stand up in front, I would just like cold call a bar and just stand up and be like, hey, everyone, guess what? Black trans lives matter. You know,
dang,
gender is not binary. Start accepting and loving queer kids. And, you know, look at me, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get a really good response.
Yeah, I was going to say it's
Absolutely.
It's a little aggressive for the bar fry crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you get them laughing, you can say those things in a way that they're accepting and they're internalizing and they're not rejecting immediately. So I found that power to really express myself and be accepted and have people laughing with me and also at me and just giving me that attention and that platform to get these messages across about inclusivity, body positivity, about gender diversity and queer lifestyles, then I'm doing something good. So that was why I started stand-up. And then being in a smaller scene and doing shitty bar shows and really rough dive bars, I found there was a really big barrier with me where I would invite friends to a show. And before I was able to perform, another comic came and just burned that room so bad that these people were like, I can't stay to watch you perform because this guy is super homophobic or, you know, really misogynistic and talking about spousal abuse. And I'm feeling really uncomfortable and unsafe. So that's why I started producing, because I felt like in these areas, like we have great queer rooms and really great safe space rooms and a diversity of rooms in Toronto. But in the places where I produce shows, we don't have those. So I decided to try to create spaces for queer and marginalized people to come and enjoy comedy without worrying about them being the butt of a joke or being attacked by someone doing crowd work really poorly and things like that. So that's why I started producing. But also, you know, the feeling of doing stand-up, everything just feels right. Being up on stage and learning to engage with audiences, learning to overcome my own anxieties and my own fears, learning to overcome my dysphoria and my discomforts with like my appearance and my voice and my body and all of these things. It's really helped to empower me by using this medium to propel myself out there. And that's it. And I really think that people like me need to see, this is going to be really redundant, but like there are a lot of people who will benefit from seeing people like me on a stage exuding confidence and success. So I'm striving to do that for them.
So comedy is really like, even between performing and producing, comedy for you is very much a tool for not only for self-growth, but also to kind of like that, to empower people, to be like, hey, you know, I've been through all this shit. You can see, you know, you can hear the differences, and yet I'm still here, I'm telling a good joke, you know, and Dale over there drinking whiskey's laughing. Absolutely.
And Dale is kind of on our side for a minute, you know?
I think that's
Dale because if you can relate to one trans person, you can better relate to all trans people.
Yeah. I think
if you have a good experience with a trans person in a bar who's making you laugh and entertaining you, then maybe if you see a trans woman being harassed on the street, you're more likely to step in or at least sympathize with them, call the police. Maybe don't call the police, especially if she's a Black trans woman, but we'll get into that later. Yeah. But you're more likely to see them as people on a level playing field, where that hasn't always been the case. So it's largely an advocacy and a visibility cause for me, for sure.
Yeah. I think that's the most interesting thing about that, is that I've never thought of it like that, because to me it's just like, you know, like that, you know, Dale at the bar drinking whiskey, if he's a racist, he's going to keep being a racist. But, you know, like you said, if a comedy show just starts up at the bar he's at, and like that, he sees a trans person, sees a, you know, a queer person of color or whatever, right? He might hear a funny joke, and like you said, the next time he has one of those thoughts that's like really hateful and bigoted, he might go like, but you know what? There was this comedian who made this joke, it was really funny. Yes. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Using comedy as like a weapon of change. I think that's great.
It's not easy out here in these streets. We'll do what we can. Like, I'll take what I can get.
That's true. As a cis passing white male, it's hard out here. I'll tell you what. Let me tell you.
And I mean, that being said, I have to say I have it super easy. I have a good career. I have financial stability. I have a great partner. I have never really been the target of violent discrimination or great oppression. So like, I have it pretty good, and my voice still comes from a place of privilege, I'm sure. Well, it does, but you still need to use that to help others out.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you know, you can't change the fact that you have privilege, but the important thing is you use that privilege to, you know, that's what everyone says, right? It's important to speak out when you can with whatever platform you can, especially if you have privilege, because it's the Dale at the bar situation exactly. Like, you know, they might see, you know, Dale might see you and be judgmental, might see me, and you and me are hanging out. Maybe Dale has a better opinion, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. We got it.
We got it. All right.
Yeah.
So we've gotten through our 5 questions. I think we've got some great insights as to who you are as a person. So now it's time for us to never be friends again, because we're playing Mario Kart.
Yes. And let's do it.
You said before the show that you get really competitive with Mario Kart, which is super exciting for me, because I do too.
Nice. So I love it.
As we're starting up here, why did we choose Mario Kart?
We chose Mario Kart because I don't know. I think Mario Kart has actually always been something, one of the first activities that my partner and I did.
Okay.
Just like hanging out at home. Oh, there's a countdown for some reason on the screen. I don't know. Looks like I'm linked. We can go back. Anyways, yeah. My sister and I, we have a game that we've made up called Drunken Mario Kart. We play on Christmas Eve every year.
Christmas tradition, getting hammered and playing.
Yeah, it is. It's a drinking game. It has all these rules. It's great. So I just think Mario Kart's a great way to like bond with somebody. You're pinning against the other person, but you're also like, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, really. I just think I love playing it, and
just Mario Kart's fun.
It's great. It's great to just fuck it up. Yeah.
Okay, so it seems to have selected the first race, which is it's Mario Stadium, which sounds like a normie stage, which means that I'll be able to actually learn how to play the game again.
Good.
I haven't.
Well, you're doing all right.
I haven't played the new Mario Kart since it came out. I'm a little bit of like a boomer when it comes to video games. I have like the GameCube one. I have Double Dash, and that one makes me happy as a human being.
Okay. I don't play a lot of games. It's this and Breath of the Wild.
Ooh, how do you like Breath of the Wild? I haven't actually played it.
Oh my god, I'm addicted.
Yeah?
Absolutely addicted. I've played, even when I don't feel like playing a game, I'll load up Breath of the Wild and just like walk through fields and collect crickets. Like, it's just so relaxing.
See, I've heard that a lot about the game where people are like, you know what? Like that. I literally just like sometimes I'll load it up and just listen to the music and like just chill.
It's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful.
So, also on this show, we like to prove that anyone can be best friends using those awful conversation starters that you hear in blogs and on TED Talks. So, our first question is from the unofficial sponsor of the show, ConversationStartersWorld.com. If they're listening, which I'm sure they are, please sponsor.
Give Cole money.
Please give me money to make... I'm going to make that joke until one day it happens. And if I ever do get sponsored by ConversationStartersWorld.com, I'll know that I did.
It worked for Ben McKay. He reached out to Fisherman's Friend. He had a Fisherman's Friend joke and then joked about having Fisherman's Friend sponsor him. And then one day they sent him like a huge box of Fisherman's Friend sample packs.
Perfect. All right, I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm done recording today. I am emailing ConversationStartersWorld.com. So, our first question of the episode, as I feel like I killed that. I feel very good about my performance in that race.
That was amazing. You kicked my ass.
I felt very good about that. I feel like it's not something that's gonna last, but I feel very good about my initial performance.
It's because I didn't get to choose my bike. We timed out.
Oh, you can... Do you want to do it now? I don't know how to...
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm just making excuses.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's how you can tell that someone plays a lot of Mario Kart, where they're like, oh yeah, the sun was in my eyes, I wasn't ready.
I will find any excuse, any reason for my failures, for sure.
So, our first question... What makes you roll your eyes every time you hear it?
What makes me roll my eyes every time I hear it?
So it can be a song, it can be like a bit from a movie.
The phrase "think outside the box."
Okay.
That makes me cringe and just roll my eyes, because thinking outside, like you're talking about lateral thinking, right? Okay. And saying something different or thinking about something different. Mm-hmm. So essentially you're saying, like, don't do a cliche, but the term think outside the box is perhaps the biggest cliche in the English language. So, like, think of something else.
So if you were to replace Think Outside the Box, what's your suggestion here on the show?
Swim outside the tank.
Oh my God, I love that so much. Holy shit, we made it. It's done.
You're swimming upstream, but you're also breaking your physical barriers.
I love that because I've always said think outside the bun because I
think outside the bun. I love it.
It was influenced too much by commercials in the 90s.
Yes.
And I remember the cool skateboarders who ate Taco Bell and drank Mountain Dew said think outside the bun.
I remember that now.
Right?
Oh my God, yeah.
That was
coming in with some
burned in my memory.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Early commercials, those will burn in your memory. What
every once in a while I go on Facebook and they have those Facebook groups that are like only 90s kids remember this.
Yeah.
Like I'll see shit like that. I hate them so much. I don't follow them, but then people will like share it.
Yeah.
And I'll see them. Oh no, red shell.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm finding my groove now.
I'll see them and then I'll be like, oh, what is it going to be this time? I bet it's something stupid. And then I see it and I'm like, oh no, okay, cool. I just had a huge nostalgia bomb. And now I'm not going to be okay for the rest of the day because that was 20 years ago.
90s commercials, those got me. Do you remember, was it a Juicy Fruit commercial?
Ooh.
Trident Splash. This is a cool story.
Okay.
So it's a commercial, a bunch of people waiting at a bus stop.
Okay.
Someone walks up, grabs a stick of gum, and starts chewing it.
Okay.
And just this huge wave of water splashes over them.
I do remember that.
Find that commercial and watch it again. And pay attention to the obviously gay man holding a little dog, like a little poodle.
Okay.
It's Robert Watson.
No way.
It's comedian Robert Watson. Yeah.
Holy shit. I'm going to find it. I'm going to like splice it into the show.
You have to.
That's so funny.
Blows my mind.
No.
It's my it also happens to be my girlfriend's mom's favorite commercial of all time.
It is a great commercial. As soon as you said it, I like pictured it in my mind, and I was like, because you were describing it, and I was like, okay. And then you said the big splash, and I was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Oh, did you pick Rainbow Road? Because I don't trust anyone who picks Rainbow Road.
I fucked with Rainbow Road. Oh, but now we're doing Yoshi Circuit.
Thank God.
Yeah, I tried to sneak that in. Because, you'll make it or break it on Rainbow Road.
I don't trust anyone who picks Rainbow Road willingly. Rainbow Road scares me. Oh,
there's no room for error in Rainbow Road.
It's true. If there's gonna be a course that you're gonna just absolutely blast my ass, it's gonna be Rainbow Road. This one I've got. This one I'm very excited about. This is a GameCube track. I've got this.
Mm-hmm.
I think about this in my sleep sometimes. I just think about Yoshi Circuit.
All right, so
there in the back of my mind always.
So you're saying at the end of this game or this lap we're going to be 3 for 3 or 0 for 3?
Yes, yeah.
Because you've won every game so far.
It's gonna be a cool. I'm back in the groove, man. I'm playing on I've learned as I was setting this episode up that I could play this on a GameCube controller, and I've never been happier than this game.
Oh, this is my first time using both Joy-Cons on a controller to play. So that's another excuse for my failures here.
Right, of course. I was gonna do, as a joke, I was gonna try and play on tilt controls, and I turned them on and tried, and I was like, I cannot do this. It gave me flashbacks to being 10 years old and frustrated playing Mario Kart Wii.
Yes.
Just having the Wii wheel and being
You're just, why can't I win?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Why can't I go left, Dad? Okay. Oh God, I hit a piranha plant. Oh God, being the host of a show.
Oh no.
Mario Kart is so
no. I know, it's hard to have conversations while playing. That's my biggest hurdle.
So this one is from gifts.com. I've been using the same article from a website from 10 years ago to ask questions every episode. It's what's the most fun project you've ever worked on? I feel like that's a good one for you because I feel like you've got your hands in a lot of pots.
Ooh. The most fun project I've got to work on.
Yeah.
Okay. So a little while ago, was it a year ago?
Okay.
I got to work on the set of Designated Survivor.
No way.
Yeah, for season 3, one of the characters played by Jamie Clayton from Sense8, she goes to this trans support group.
Okay.
And they cast actual Toronto trans people, mostly comics, comics performers, just people. But we were cast to like just do this support group and like tell our stories. And it was like a real production though. Like we got to, okay, your pick now. Yeah, so I got to like, yeah, so it was the whole thing. Like I showed up, I had a trailer, I had hair and makeup.
Damn! Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I got to meet Jamie. Like Jamie and I sat next to each other in chairs during filming. There were like 5 or 6 cameras. It was so cool. So that was probably the most fun.
Yeah.
But projects, there's so many cool projects. In architecture school, I got to work, I got to redesign a post office on Manitoulin Island. That was a really, really cool project for me.
That's really cool. That's like some Animal Crossing shit. Like,
yeah. Yeah, so they had this post office that was like an old school, and then they were doing a remodel and a redesign to make it accessible.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really cool project I got to work on as well. I missed that launch. Yeah, finally seeing that first place. My girlfriend's off screen right now, just shaking her head because she plays on 200 and
really?
Knocks it out of the park every time, just leaving me in like 8th place.
See, I remember when 200 first came out on the I think it was on the Wii U one.
Mm-hmm.
It was like me and my brother downloaded it and tried to play it, and we just got stomped by kids online. And I was like, well, I'm retired. I can't do this.
This can't happen. Yeah.
It's hurt my pride.
We're killing it here.
Okay.
I'm close.
You are. This is the closest race we've had so far.
So, what's the most exciting project you worked on?
Oh my god.
Because becoming best friends is about knowing each other, not just knowing me.
That is true.
Yeah.
In college I got to work with. So I did a co-op with Rogers TV in Oshawa.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to work on the morning show a few times. I got to work with the Marilyn Dennis show a few times. So
cool.
Yeah, and like they were really good about giving the students like a lot of different things. So I ran the teleprompter one day, I did camera one day, like I did switchboard one day, and like
oh, that's great.
It's live TV that they're giving to students. Like they could easily fuck this.
You could fuck this up, yeah.
Like we had to make graphics, and I remember there was times where kids would make graphics that were like wrong. Like they would just put like they put the wrong name or they'd like misspell something, and it would go on live TV, and I was like, damn, that's insane.
Holy shit.
Right? So
yeah.
That was really cool. I got to work on some music videos in another co-op I did. I worked with some country singers, which was
nice.
Cool.
So what did you study in college? Broadcasting?
Broadcasting, yeah. I did broadcasting for contemporary media was my
contemporary media.
But basically, I learned how to be a podcast host.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You know what? Maybe I'm ready for the big leagues. Maybe 200 ain't so bad. Tell you what.
Yeah. You're stretching your legs here. You're doing
That's
it.
pretty good. I knew picking Link was a good idea. Picked my boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a sword, which means he's good at driving a car. That's just logic.
Of course.
Makes sense. I'm going to dab the sweat off from being such a winner.
Also, master of ancient technologies.
Boom.
Yeah.
It is cool. I saw that they put Breath of the Wild Link in here. I chose OG because, again, big old boomer. But having Breath of the Wild Link is very cool. Okay. We've played Mario Kart. We've had a great time.
Yeah.
I feel like we've become a lot closer as friends by just me annihilating you in
I think so. We've become best friends, and we've also established dominance. Like, we know that's important. We know the hierarchy now.
There's a pecking order now, isn't it?
So I'm the supporting actor in your story. Yes.
The last thing we like to do here at Let's Be Best Friends to really concretely seal our best friendship is a little something that we call the lightning round. The lightning round is, I'm going to put 1 minute on a timer. I'm going to ask you as many this or that questions as we can get through.
Oh, shit. I knew I should have found some Coke for today. Okay.
In that time.
Never done Coke in my life.
A podcast exclusive, we do Coke for the first time. That's on Let's Be Best Friends. We just get high out of our minds and talk really fast.
And lose our careers and families and everything we've ever worked for. Yeah.
Before anything could ever take off, we get just taken down.
We decay back to eating berries in Hyde Park together.
This time at the ultimate best friendship.
Best friendship. Yes. I love it. Okay, lightning round.
Lightning round. I have the questions here, so if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go.
Let's do this.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Cookies or cake?
Cake.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs. Easy.
Computer games or console games?
Computer games.
Pop music or rock music?
Pop.
Stuffed animals or dolls?
Stuffed animals.
Pancakes or waffles?
Ooh, waffles.
Yeah.
Definitely waffles. Yes.
Hot chocolate or coffee?
Coffee.
Morning or evening?
Evening.
Text message
mornings.
or call?
Always a text message. I don't answer my phone. I'll text you back to ask what you called about.
Libraries or museums?
Ooh, museums.
French or Spanish?
Spanish.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Theater or cinema?
Cinema.
Love or money?
Money?
Books
Sorry,
or
babe.
movies?
Movies. I love books, but give me a movie. Yeah. Is that it?
That is our 1 minute timer.
I did it. I answered them all.
You got there. I love or money is my favorite question on this question list because it comes right near the end, and it's my favorite thing.
When you're just when you're just reacting and responding, I feel like the honest answer comes out.
It's true.
Give me money. I love myself enough.
And also, I forgot that there's the context that your partner is sitting just off screen, watching you then lose in Mario Kart and then say, "I will take the bag over your love."
Money. She knows it. She knows it.
That's important. Yeah. That's self-love. That's all that is.
That's great. She supports my mission to find a rich sugar daddy because we've agreed that if it's for money, it's not cheating.
Hell yeah. I love that. Oh. Man, shit. That's going to be my new first date question. I'm going to be like, if I secure the bag, is that cheating?
Right.
I am going to tabulate your score. While I do that, we have our question from social media. And if anyone out there listening right now would like to get a question on the podcast, it's super, super simple. You can tweet, Instagram, comment below on the video here. At OldKingCake is the social media on everything. My DMs are open. Ask a question. It will get on the show. Our question from social media this time is, what's the one talent that you have that even your best friend may not know you have?
One talent that I do have that even my best friends. That's interesting.
Right? I thought
Because
it was a really good
I'm so self-indulgent. Like, I'm so narcissistic that if I'm good at something, everyone fucking knows it. A talent that I have. That's so difficult. It would have to be something private. I'm thinking like something sexual.
Ooh, okay.
But then, even then, I'm really open. And I don't want to admit to the entire world that I'm really good at waxing my own ass crack.
That's a good talent to have. Let me say that. PSA for anyone listening at home. That's a good talent to have. There's no judgment here.
Right.
That's an amazing talent.
You have to know how to de-hair, to depilate your own ass crack if you're going to make it in this biz, for sure.
It's 100% true. No comedian has a hairy ass crack, and that's a fact.
One skill. Oh, she has headphones on. I was going to ask my partner. I know. Ooh, I know how to gut and clean a fish.
Really?
And my best friend probably doesn't know that.
How did you come across that? Did you just like read a book one day or like?
Living in the woods for 4 months.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
No, I grew up in Northern Ontario, and really rural areas. And like, I went fishing with my grandfather a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then my ex-mother-in-law and I spent a lot of time on the water. She taught me how to fish and taught me how to sail and stuff like that. So bad bitches just pulling fish guts.
Honestly, I'm in awe because I'm a coaster at heart. My family's from the East Coast. And so I've done it once. I know the theoretical concept of gutting a fish, but I feel like if they were like, oh, hey, coaster buddy, like, get over here. City buddy, get over here. Here's a knife. Here's a fish. Cut her open. We need dinner. I'd be like, okay. Like,
yeah.
And I would butcher the shit out of it. So, like, kudos to you.
You are an East Coaster. Yeah, I get that vibe from you.
See, I love it when people say
that's not a compliment or an insult. That's just an observation.
I take that.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
My family's from Moncton, New Brunswick. So I'm on the cusp of coaster, but I have family all over it. You know what I mean? Like, I have families in Halifax and all those kinds of things.
Yeah. So from Moncton, I know Moncton. I used to live on Grand Manan.
No way.
Island in the Bay of Fundy. Yeah.
That's
I'm a coaster at heart. I have family in Newfoundland. So yeah,
man,
got a little.
You really are just.
But I know what that's. I try. I do everything for a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Get bored and move on. That's what I do. Yeah. That reminds me of a story. Just like people assuming you know how to get a fish or you know how to, break down a lobster or something. In Uganda, it was assumed of me because I was Canadian that I knew how to chop down a tree. And I was brought to a friend's farm because they had a tree that needed to be felled. And they were like, white bitch from Canada, give her a chainsaw, not even a chainsaw, but a machete. And they were like, help us cut down this tree. Yeah.
I love the idea that they watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fair. If you had never been to Canada or like met a Canadian, all you have to go by is like the media. It's
the
like
log driver's waltz and yeah.
It's like pancakes, cold, and like chopping down trees. So if you need one of those three things, boom,
and lumberjacks.
Yeah,
that's it. That is it Python. For sure. So yeah, they invited me and was like, you need to contribute. Help us take down this tree. You need to take down this tree.
Here's a sword. We believe in you.
Yeah, and I did it.
Really?
But I wasn't good at it. Like
it took me a few hours, but God damn it, that tree was down. I'll tell you what.
African hardwoods are so hard.
Yeah,
So
it's in the
hard.
name.
I was at it for hours. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So don't judge a book by its flag, by its. Yeah,
That's
I
true.
don't
We have
know.
a leaf
I don't know
on
what
the
I'm trying
flag.
to say.
You know what? Fair play to those people in Uganda, man.
They're
they
not
read
wrong.
books.
They're not wrong. Yeah.
Our branding is just a little shitty.
Hmm.
So, we've tabulated the score.
All right.
Are you ready to hear
Yes.
the results of the lightning round? Alice
I'm
Rose.
so ready. I don't even want you to finish your sentence. I'm just going to keep talking over you.
Alice Rose, we have tabulated the
Yes.
score. You have scored 9 out of 15 points, which is a passing grade.
Passing grade.
There it is. C's get degrees.
All right.
And we love
All
that around
right.
here.
So that's compared to your answers?
Yes, that's compared to,
Yeah.
to my preferences to your preferences. And, you know, the more I've done this show, the more I've realized, you know, some of the best conversations I've had on this show are with people that have gotten way lower scores than this. So I think it proves the thesis of this show. Alice Rose, I'd like to thank you for becoming my new best friend.
That's awesome.
I want to give you this time.
Thank you for becoming my new best friend.
Oh, perfect. I want to give you this time.
Yeah.
This is your time. Tell the people on the internet what you've got going on, what shows you've got coming up, what you want them to hear about.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. After what seems like forever, I think we finally got some stuff going on.
Woo!
I'm starting to feel busy. I like it. We're hoping to return back to Waterloo in August.
Okay.
To our live shows. So fingers crossed for that. If you're in the KW area, follow us on. Follow me, Alice Rose Laughs, or Comic Sans, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Look out for news for that. July 22nd, we're doing a virtual edition of Comic Sans.
Nice.
The unofficial title is This One's for Marsha. So we're celebrating Marsha P. Johnson and Black trans women all month. So on our Instagram page, Comic Sans Productions, we are featuring a different badass Black trans woman each day leading up to the show. People like, how much time do we have? Because I can go
you can
on.
Just go.
We're good?
Yeah.
We're good?
We got no time. I run the show. You got no time limits. Jesus.
All
I'm
right.
drunk with power. You can do whatever you want.
People, I just learned Lucy Anderson, she was born in the 1880s. She was like, she was adamant that she was a girl, and her parents let her present and live her life as a woman. She became a burlesque performer and this great like socialite. She was an award-winning chef. Distractible ADHD, but she was an award-winning chef and socialite. She was a trans woman in the 1910s, 1920s, became this prominent socialite. And this popularity led her to run illegal businesses. So she ran a brothel and a speakeasy, all like under the radar during the Prohibition. She was caught and arrested once, but the head banker of the town that she lived in posted her bail and got her out of jail, cleared all of the charges because she was due to cater his like big dinner party that night. So she got away with it. And it wasn't until there was an outbreak of VD in the Navy that was traced back to her brothel that things started going bad with her, because the doctor in the town ordered everyone who worked in the brothel, including her, to get tested for VD, to go in for an examination. And they brought her in, tried to check out her vagina, found out it was a penis, and then it came out. So she was the first person to be put on trial for being transgender before the word transgender came out.
Yeah.
So the first person to be put on trial for that, she was also married twice, which is awesome, but the first person to be put on trial for that, and to fight it, based on her gender identity, saying like, I challenge any doctor to prove that I'm not a woman, because I am. And I think that's super badass.
That's
we
gangster.
are, yeah. So we're celebrating awesome, super cool women like that every month. The show is July 22nd on Twitch.
Okay.
And it features women of color, queer women of color. Headliner Martha Chavez is going to be on it.
Perfect.
Really, really cool lineup from people across Canada. And we're fundraising all the proceeds to the show, and we're asking for donations to 2 charities that support Black trans women. So one is a fundraiser for Black trans homeless women.
Okay.
And another one is based in Atlanta, and it's for it's a bail fund for Black trans women protesters.
Okay.
So that's really relevant with what's happening in Atlanta right now. So we're trying to raise some money for that. Joke Shop is also happening online on Twitch. So that is July 28th. We are we're inviting the show, or we're opening up the show and keeping it to marginalized people and people of color. Ashwin Singh Chadha is one of our co-producers, and he's going to be running that. It's going to be like a joke marmalade sort of workout gym where you get to suggest tags for one another and talk about your material.
Love that.
My podcast, The Corona Shift, comes out today. So this is the last of the series of archived episodes. We have comedian Cindy Rivers from Fort McMurray. I have a video interview with her, so that comes out today. That's once a week. The Corona Shift is a podcast where I talk to comedians and performers about how the quarantine and the current situation for performing artists have affected their lives and helped them revisit their careers in interesting and new ways.
Cool.
I'd love to have you on that sometime in the future.
Yes, the answer is
yes. Other than that, check out comicsansproductions.ca. We've got lots of exciting things going on there. We have a roster of talent. So if you're looking for a comedian to book for your private show, to book for your club, your fundraiser, your event, your business meeting, your Zoom meeting, whatever, we've got our core roster, and we work with almost 200 comedians who identify as queer and marginalized. So we've got a selection of people to choose from there. We also have all of our productions up and fun stuff as well. Anything else coming up? I think that's it.
Well,
I think that's it.
Is that all?
If there is, and I missed it, find us on social media, follow us, and we'll make some noise about it there.
Perfect. So that's
cool.
At Alice Rose Laughs if you want to follow Alice herself.
Yes.
And at Comic Sans Productions, or is it Comic Sans Prod?
Comic Sans Prod.
Perfect.
Yes.
on
And then
Facebook, Instagram,
comicsansproductions.ca.
That's probably the best place, I'd say.
Yeah.
comicsansproduction.ca. All these links are going to be in the description below, of course. Links to the show pages of the shows if you're interested in seeing any of those. Twitch channel. It's gonna be a big old brick of just links.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Thank
you
all the hookups
so much, Alice, for becoming my new best friends. I'd also like to thank all of my best friends listening at home. However you listen to the podcast, however you watch the podcast, make sure you take a second to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, do all those fun algorithm things, because it does help out the show. It helps us grow and helps us make more episodes with more people. And also, if you want to get a question on the show, remember it's at OldKingCake on all the social medias on planet Earth, on this beautiful green rock we live in. And also, you can leave comments down below. I read all the comments. If you want to get a question on the show, I'd also like to thank Isabel Wing for the intro to our podcast, Let's Be Best Friends, and Seth Feldman for the outro. That's all the time we have for this week. So remember, your mom was your best friend at one point, so give her a call, and we'll see you next week.